Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Ahmed al. Today we will talk on psychrometric charts, how to use and how to read. So what is psychrometry? Psychrometry is a study of cooling by evaporation. Maximum evaporation occurs when water is exposed to maximum airflow for the longest possible time. So what is a psychrometric chart? Psychrometric chart is a chart that represents thermodynamic parameters of the moist air at constant pressure, and it always equated to elevation relative to sea level. Psychrometric chart is very useful in determining properties of air water vapor mixture, that's to mean moist air. Psychrometric charts consists of dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature, relative humidity, humidity ratio or absolute humidity, specific volume, specific enthalpy, and by knowing any two parameters of those properties you can estimate the other parameters. Because psychrometric chart is complicated as you see here, so it is better to do analysis each parameter alone to be convenient and understand the parameters and how to use the psychrometric chart very well. So let's start with dry bulb temperature. Dry bulb temperature is the temperature that we measure by standard thermometer, and it is represented on psychrometric chart as vertical lines starting from left to right, the minimum value on the left and the maximum value on the right. Then we have also wet bulb temperature. Wet bulb temperature is associated with water content in the air, and it is measured with wet bulb thermometer. It is standard thermometer that is wrapped with wet cloth. So due to the cooling effect that takes place due to the water evaporation from the cloth, the wet bulb temperature is always lower than dry bulb temperature. But at 100% relative humidity, there's no cooling due to there is no evaporation. So the temperature of wet bulb will be the same as dry bulb temperature. Enthalpy is a measure of heat energy in the air due to both sensible heat, that's temperature, and also latent heat, that's the evaporation, and it's measured in kilojoule per kilogram of dry air, and it has oblique line, so the enthalpy is oblique lines beyond the psychrometric chart as you see in this chart. Then we have humidity. Actually we have two types of humidity in psychrometric chart. We have relative humidity, it's in percentage, and we have absolute humidity in kilogram per kilogram, kilogram water per kilogram air. So in relative humidity, it's a partial pressure of water vapor in a mixture to the saturated vapor pressure of water, and it takes curves line as you see in the chart. Then we have absolute humidity, it's amount of water in air, and it's usually expressed in gram per cubic meter or gram per gram or gram per kilogram or kilogram per kilogram. Then we have vapor pressure. Vapor pressure has a scale horizontal lines, and it's a scale outside on the right hand of the psychrometric chart. Most of psychrometric charts don't have pressure, vapor pressure. Dew point temperature or saturation temperature of the mixture, it's horizontal lines on the psychrometric chart. Most of psychrometric charts don't have dew point curves or lines for dew point temperature or saturation temperature, so you may don't find it in most of charts. Then we have specific volume of air. It's multiplicative inverse of density, so it's measured in cubic meter per kilogram, and it's oblique lines as you see here. Now let's take example how to combine all these parameters together to find unknown parameters. Consider this example. You have space at sea level, temperature, dry temperature is 20 and 50% relative humidity. So first you have to determine the curve, the point that intercepts between 2 points, relative humidity 50% and 20 dry bulb temperature. From this point you can start to find other parameters. See? Wet bulb temperature by extending the point, then we can extend another line to find absolute humidity on horizontal line of the absolute humidity. Then we can extend another line to find enthalpy and to find specific volume of the dry air. By this you can find any parameters very easily by knowing only 2 parameters of the psychrometric chart. Thank you so much for listening, and see you in another lesson. Assalamu alaikum.